All right, what is up, Comedy Calendar fans? Welcome to your weekly dose of Miami comedy. This show where me, your host, Sebastian Auvers, and my co-host here, Art Roach, every single week we give you what's happening, what happened, and what's going to be coming up in South Florida comedy. Thank you so much for tuning in to us here. What an amazing week of comedy that we just had in South Florida, specifically at Miami and up in Dania, everywhere in South Florida, really. How was your week, Art? How did you do this week?
Sebi, before we start, last week my hairpiece came unglued. I don't want to address it on this episode. So if we can just not even address it, okay?
Sounds good. I won't talk about that hairpiece and how terribly it looked in the last episode. Don't go and watch the clips, guys. Do not go back last week. Watch any clips. Don't post anything with funny screenshots of when his hair was looking the worst. Don't do that. Stop it. Get some help. But let's talk about last week, though, because we started off with an absolute banger up in Miami Beach, and that was at Bay Club with Will Lopez curating one of the best lineups I've ever seen in a book show outside of a club in South Florida. I'll be honest with you, 100%. They had Danny Benaventes host. Dina Cruz came through and did a guest set. They had Will on that. They had Chris Renoir, Alex Maurizio, who is also the co-runner of that room with Will, helps run that room with Will every single week, and then headlining the evening, they had Orlando Leyba, our friend who I opened for in Dania Beach last week on Thursday. He was there headlining that room, and it was an absolute blast. There are all the comics on screen right now, all the people who performed. Such a fun room. That was the first time I'd ever been there, and honestly, I thought it was kind of, well, it was overdue. Yeah. When I got there and I watched the show and I experienced it, I was like, yeah, this was overdue. We should have been coming here a long time ago because it's so much fun. The vibes in there are immaculate. It was packed out.
I'll say this.
There was no seating in the entire place.
No, and being on the beach, I expected like parking to be a hassle. I expected
yes.
There's a parking garage right next door.
Cheap.
Packed.
We paid like $8 for parking. We were there for 4 hours.
We pay more in the route.
Yeah, I pay more to park at work than I do to park at Bay Club.
And then you get there, the vibe is really nice. Yeah. The food is amazing. I mean, we had wings, we had pizza.
No, the wings were actually very, very good.
The service was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the show starts, and you're, a really, really intimate venue with the top comedians of South Florida. And then Orlando came on. Killed it, headlined the night.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool watching Orlando actually operate within a club setting because, like, a guy of his caliber, we watched him headline Dania Beach with, a crowd that came out to see him, doing an hour of chill material. Everyone like in that perfect setting, it was great watching him operate as a professional, but then seeing that translate to doing it in the little bar scene or the bar setting that we normally perform in, it was really cool seeing how a professional handled that situation as the headliner, doing that time, doing crowd work, kind of weaving it in and out of his material. I thought he was fantastic, and I was so happy that I was able to not just watch him, but watch him in that setting. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I mean, I think it was a masterclass in how to perform at a bar. I mean, people were talking, ordering drinks, and to be able to pull the whole room in, get them focused on what you're doing, what you're saying, and kill it. I mean, I was sitting behind a couple that literally the lady fell out of her chair as they were laughing. So it was amazing. Big shout out to Will. We're actually planning on having him here in the next couple of weeks to interview him about the Bay Club. It's one of the longest running shows down here in South Florida. And we're also looking forward to, before the end of the year, Sebi and myself being there at Bay Club and performing for Will. So we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to that. And absolutely looking forward to going back to Bay Club. And if you guys ever want to go out there, it's on Mondays at 9 o'clock, correct? That's when correct. It starts. So every Monday or every other Monday. This week they are off. Next week they are back on. So next week on Monday you can go to Bay Club and enjoy the show. Look forward to that. 9 p.m. in Miami Beach. Be there or be square. Now, moving on to Tuesday, the next day, we actually had a fun contest over at the Miami Improv. We had our annual turkey contest. Turkey contest is always a good time because it's a lot of it's like the best lighthearted fun we can have as comedians, because the real prize is a turkey. And it was $100, correct? $100 in a turkey. So the $100 is nice, but the trophy of an actual physical frozen turkey is just hilarious. And as comics, it's fun to kind of jar each other about who's going to win it. Art, you competed in it.
That's right.
And I just went up and did a guest set. I was working that night, so I just kind of went up and did my thing. There's Art actually doing one of his patented jokes about his dad, Chlamydia Carlos, right there. That one's really good. I love that joke of his. And Dan actually also got another image of me on stage there, just hanging out and doing my thing. As you can see, I'm in uniform. Looking, that is what you'll see me dressed as any single night that you are at the Improv and I'm working at the front. But it's so much fun to go up and just hang out with those crowds and do a little time.
I'll say big shout out. I mean, obviously you did a guest set, but we had a couple of our friends actually compete. So we had Julian, who works here with us at Community News Comedy Calendar. Big shout out to him. Jay Milley.
Yes, sir.
The new hire at the Improv.
Shout out to Jay Milley.
Big shout out to
Killing it over there at the Improv, working his first couple weeks, getting it done, doing the crazy thing, because we've had some insane shows in his limited time there, and he's absolutely knocked it out of the park. So big shout out to Jay Milley.
Since he started, we had 3 kind of record-breaking shows. We had
3 crazy
the one where people
shows.
try to break into the show, the one where just more people showed up than you could ever imagine, and then last night, which was, we'll talk about it here in a second, which was a record-setting night for the Miami Improv. So
absolutely.
Big shout out there. And then a big shout out to the runner-up of the competition, Will Dove. He brought out, maybe 20, 25 of his friends. Had a really good set. I've been seeing him kind of work up in the community scene. Had a really good set, so well-deserved as a runner-up. And the night's big winner was Graciela Benitez. She also brought out maybe 30 of her friends. Had a really solid set. Compared to all the sets I've seen her doing, had a really good, did a really good job, and ultimately took the night, took the turkey home that night.
And it was audience voted.
The audience voted. Exactly.
So we audience voted, and they came down to a runoff of the 2 highest vote getters, and then we did a clap off to see who would win, and Graciela won it by like a slim margin. It was a tight one. Mo, our host, was having a little trouble deciding who it was because he didn't have a freaking decibel meter to because it was that close.
Yeah.
But it was really good, and I think everyone can agree Graciela and Will, either one of them, if they would have won, it would have been deserving. Because they both did a great job. They both did their job and brought people. They both did a fantastic job of that, which is the baseline job of being a comedian.
That's right.
Bring the people, and then they delivered on making them laugh. So that's what you got to do. Next year, if you're somebody who's interested in doing turkey competition, remember that. It's a bringer show.
Yeah.
And it's voted by the people there in the audience. There's no judges. There's no nothing. It's not like Floor's Funniest, where there has to be some kind of like arbitrary judging going on. Turkey contest is straight up, how many people can you bring out to support you?
Yeah.
And stay till the end and vote.
And I'll say one last thing about bringer shows in general. So the Miami Improv and the Dania Improv, they offer every month at least one opportunity to do what they call new faces or a bringer show, or like in November we call it a turkey contest, right? And any comedian in the South Florida scene who's trying to get his reps in, who's doing open mics, should be planning on doing the new faces open mic.
Yeah.
There's no better scene. You're going to get to perform in front of 150, 200, 250 people. You get the exercise of, bringing people out to the Improv, which is the job we're signing up for as comedians. And you get those reps in. You get to work closely with like Ellie Rodriguez, who's a showrunner for that show. You get to work closely with you, for example, who, often hosts or helps Ellie show run. And it gives you a lot of that background into the Improv that normally as like open micers, we don't have.
Well, the reality is the new faces is the first and the best way for you to get in front of management or get attention from them. Because if you go and you bring 50 to 70 people, it's a test. It's an uphill battle. It's arduous. But if you do that, they're going to take note. People are going to look at you. And there are guys who have brought that many people to new faces and then been approached about, hey, how many people could you bring if it was your night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the job, guys. At the end of the day, if you're a comedian, that's the job. So if you want to get out there and prove and get your name out there and show that you have some kind of, attention being drawn towards you, come out to the new faces, not only bring people, but then kill it.
Yeah.
That's an audition every single month at both locations. And if you can do that and bring that deliverable, by all means, it'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
Promise me. Trust me. I've seen it happen many, many times.
And if anyone has questions, apprehensions, just hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit up the comedy calendar. That's what I'm here to do. I'll answer your questions. I'll make it as easy as possible. And ultimately in 2025, it's just a personal goal of mine. I want all of the new faces shows, all 12 of them in Miami, to be a show that people want to come to. I want the best of the best to come out. I plan on being there at the new faces. So
yeah.
I want people to bring their A game and make it a show that turns out 250, 300 people a month.
I love it, man. Moving on to Thursday, though, at the Miami Improv, we had our boy David Nihill, somebody who you had performed with prior to him coming, right? Art, you did the Rafi Bastos show that he opened up for. That was a Brazilian show. And that was where we learned just how much of a world traveler this man is. David Nihill, like we said it last week, he is one of the most brainy, heady comics. His whole show was about suggesting books to people. That's what this tour was book suggestions and kind of how it was going to go. He had an opener for her, Lisa Correo, who killed it herself, absolutely did a fantastic job. Both of them did great. And the crowds, loved it. They ate it up. It was so different. Like, he even came out and he was like, do you guys even read books in Miami? Or in America. I think he said America. I didn't think he called out Miami specifically, but still he mentioned that, where he was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And they loved it. He did his thing. He stayed true to himself, and it was fantastic. And I thought it was a great time. Actually had a few Irish people out there as well. Like, he shouted out, he was like, any Irish people here? And there were a few, like 6 or 7 people throughout the crowd, like, shouted him out. So I love seeing that when a comic comes and he has an ingratiated audience that comes out to support him, because you get a different vibe. We have our regulars that come to, most of the weekends or take us up on the free ticket offers that we sometimes have out. But on a regular basis, it becomes like, a breath of fresh air when you don't get those same people, and it's like a new crowd, it's a new vibe, it's a new energy. So it's really, really fun.
What's interesting, people came from far, from Naples, Orlando, Tampa. They drove down to see him, which was really cool. Last week on the show, I mentioned, because the tour is called Shelf Help, and I mentioned that there's some like self-help and mental improvement kind of things. And when he got there, he actually saw the clip and he's like, hey, Art, thank you. So, thank you for saying all those things. But, I'm not really here to help people. There's going to be some book recommendations.
Yeah.
So even his humor around his humor was awesome. And Lisa was amazing. I've seen her perform before. I've seen her at the Improv. I never had the chance to talk to her until this show. But I was able to have, long conversation with her. She's a touring comedian, and I actually encouraged her, whenever she's in Miami or in South Florida, to just hit us up. Yeah. And I'll recommend some shows, some open mics. And that goes for any kind of like comedian that's traveling around a lot. If they come to South Florida, they want to hit some mics, hit me up. We'll find some shows. We'll book some things for you guys, and really get you working while you're down here. So really big shout out to Lisa. It was really cool to meet her. I was able to take some pictures. We didn't have Dark Vision there for that show, but I was able to take some pictures of them and get it posted. So it's really cool. Looking forward to seeing them again.
Heck yeah. And then over the weekend, we had an absolute banger of a weekend. We had Anjelah Johnson, who is a really, really good friend of the Miami Improv's management and staff. We all love when Anjelah comes through, not just because she brings an amazing crowd that comes and not just enjoys the club, but enjoys the atmosphere. Like, these people are really happy to be here and to be able to engage with Anjelah. One of the things you kind of lose focus of is the scale of just how like popular some of these comedians are. We do these shows every week, we deal with these crowds every week, but like with Anjelah, it was different. These people are like real fans of her. Like, they're fans of her, and they've been fans for a very, very long time. I mean, she absolutely destroyed it. There's her team there, her manager. What was her manager's name again? Danielle Roach. That's right. Yeah, just like Art, not a cousin or anything, but no relation other than of the Roach moniker. And then her opener too. What was his name?
Yeah, Ron Horton. Excuse me.
Ron. All of them absolutely killed it.
His handle is Granddaddy Fresh on Instagram.
Nice.
He's got a lot of really, really cool bits and things about, obviously I'm not sure how old he is, but definitely, an older man.
Yeah.
And he talks about being a granddad and talks about some of those stuff, which, just resonates so well with Anjelah's crowd.
100%.
One of the things that I've seen her material over the years, but one of the things you don't realize is, she doesn't say any bad words. She doesn't, she talks about kind of like these nice topics, but she doesn't do it in a way that's crude or
right.
So that it opens up the audience. We had 20-year-olds in the audience. We had 75-year-olds in the audience. They all had a good time. They all laughed.
We also had our giveaway winner show up to the show. Nikki of Miami, Nikki Martinez came, and if you don't follow her on Instagram, give her a follow. She's a full-time content creator based in Miami. She posts some of the best unknown spots, food spots, just really, really good content. If there's anything happening in Miami, Nicole usually has a clip coming out for it, and she has some access to it or a giveaway for you guys. So definitely follow her on Instagram. She did a fantastic job of promoting us when we announced her as the winner. So we couldn't be more grateful for that. And she came out with her boyfriend. They both had a great time. Yep. They were given the $50 voucher. And guess what, guys? We're going to have another giveaway this week.
That's right.
And that's coming up later in the show. So by all means, please stay tuned and keep your ears out during the show, because once we talk about that giveaway, you're going to want to go online and sign up for it right away, because there's going to be a lot of signups for this one, just so you know.
And I will say for Nikki, she's part of the comedy calendar family now.
Yeah.
So if she has any events, if she does anything out there and she wants support, she wants us to repost it or talk about it on here, all she has to do is send it to us. Big shout out. She's our first big ticket winner.
Yeah.
For these VIP passes that we're doing. So she's always going to be part of the family. She's going to go in the Hall of Fame for us. So
100%.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Nikki, and shout out to the Improv also for giving us the opportunity to give away these tickets and to be able to hand these out. Huge shout out to everyone over at the Improv. especially this week, I'm super excited about what we have, but also I've gone ahead about, 2 or 3 months already and looked at the shows that we're going to be giving away tickets for. And guys, we got some good shows that we're going to be giving away tickets for. We've already got them pre-approved for some of the biggest shows we have coming out in the next 7-8 months. Like, we've already got them pre-approved for some really, really big giveaways in terms of monetary value that you can spend at the club and ticket value. So moving forward, guys, you want to absolutely not just follow us, but stay tuned and keep your eyes locked in, because you're never going to want to miss out on one of these opportunities in the future, because the shows that we got coming up are bangers. They're going to be really, really good. And if you look ahead on the improv calendar, hint, hint, you'll be able to kind of look ahead and see which ones and kind of anticipate when we're going to give away tickets. Because I would say 90% of the shows that we have coming out over the next 6 months, we're going to be able to give away tickets for. So keep an eye on that. Keep looking out to that. Keep tuned in on the comedy calendar, because that is going to be huge. But closing out our recap of last week, and then we're going to quickly move into what's happening this week. We had Renee Vaca last night at the Miami Improv. 2 sold-out shows, record-breaking shows. This man literally broke records. I am so happy that he came through with his brother Arturo Vaca, and Carlos Hernandez actually opened for him as well. Our boy Carlos came through and did his thing with Renee and the team. Honestly, huge shout out to Renee and the team that he's put together around him, because that was the first thing. Before he showed up, he had his manager, his photographer, the people running the merch. He had everybody come through. They were super organized. They were super polite. They got everything set up and done so that all Renee had to do was go out there on stage, drink 1942 and grape juice, and make them all laugh, go crazy. It was a party. Yeah. It was literally a party at the Miami Improv last night. 2 shows. If you missed it, you missed the fucking banger. Yeah. You got to come out next time he's here. You got to get tickets ahead of time when he's here, because these shows are not just funny stand-up, making you laugh, having a good time. But it really is that party feel. Yeah. He really does. He gives you that vibe. He does a lot of crowd work. He's in the moment. He capitalizes on the energy of the night. And I think that's what I took away from him the most, was even though maybe he's not doing, stand up like you'd see on Letterman, or he's not doing, straight, set up punchline, traditional stand up. He's doing the job of entertaining people. That's right. And bringing them out and making them laugh, making them have a good time, and making them spend money. We had some of our record-breaking food sales last night, some record-breaking drink sales last night in terms of a 1-night, 2-night show on a Sunday. Yeah. So for us, it was great. We worked our butts off. Yeah. It was
big shout out to everyone at the Miami Improv.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone.
After a long, heavy week.
We basically pushed through 800 plus people through our doors within 5 hours yesterday. And I couldn't have given more props to not just the staff over there, but also Renee's staff, and making sure that everybody, got captured. There were pictures taken. They were filming all of the stuff from the line.
He did a meet and greet afterwards.
He did it, right.
More than half the people stayed and did pictures with him, and
he gave everybody their time. Yeah, which I thought was, when he told us that he was doing meet and greet with everyone, I thought, oh, this guy's crazy, and he sat there and he did his thing. So huge shout out to those guys. And
a couple of shout outs for me that I want to shout out. Like, first, Carlos Hernandez coming through. He
killed it.
Anytime he comes to the Miami Improv, does a great job.
Yep.
I got to hang out with him a little bit afterwards. He did some pictures, some his own kind of meet and greet with people. It was amazing. It was really cool to meet Arturo Vaca. Love his name, first of all. Big bias for me there.
Yeah.
But really cool. I mean, like you said, the whole team operating flawlessly. Renee, actually, he did 2 shows. Both shows were completely different.
Yeah.
Like, first things first, Arturo and Carlos, they switched off for the second show.
Sure.
So you got a little bit of a different flavor from each one. And on the second one, Renee started, like, he brought some people up on stage.
Yeah.
He had a couple start grinding in the audience.
Yeah, he was like, your girl's pregnant, like, show him whatever. Like, it was crazy. It was awesome.
So it was one of those things where, like, even us as employees there, we were completely entertained the whole time by completely different things. It wasn't like watching the same show twice. So big shout out to that whole team, and we're going to be seeing big things from them going forward. Absolutely, big shout out to that. And next time he comes through, hopefully we'll maybe have some tickets to give away, and also we'll be letting you guys know well ahead of time, knowing that he's going to be selling out more than likely when he comes through next year. What is to be expected, so that you can get your tickets ahead of time before they sell out. That's always what we try and do for you guys. Keep you up to date as always. But now, to keep you up to date on this week in South Florida comedy, we're going to kind of rapid fire through this one. Starting off on Monday, that is today, me and Art are going to be over at Thank You Miami. We're going to be doing the main show there with Daniela Delfino. Alex is going to be serving up drinks and serving up food, as we do every single week. If you come out to Thank You Miami, please come up and say what's up to us. Say you saw us from the comedy calendar, and please, 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 always
always remember that if you go to Thank You Miami, you are never too far from a good time in terms of hanging out with comics, getting a good drink, free parking. Like the night is always good when you are at Thank You Miami.
I always say, I recommend to everyone, if you want to kind of dip your toe into the Miami comedy scene, whether you were going to perform for the first time, whether you've been thinking about doing an open mic, whether you lost a fantasy bet and you have to do an open mic,
sure,
or you just want to catch some comedy that's not, doesn't require a fanciness. You just show up, it's your local bar. I recommend Thank You Miami. We do it twice a week, Mondays, Fridays, super accessible. There's no crazy, if you want to sign up, you literally just go to the bar, put your name on the sheet. It's that simple. All the comedians hang out there, so you can talk to us. You can, we can run through material together. It really is, like I said, our local gym and where we do a lot of our workshopping. So I cannot recommend it enough. Every week, Monday and Friday, Thank You Miami.
100%. And moving on to Tuesday now, we have a Spanish show at the Miami Improv. You and I won't be there, Art, but you have some more information on that?
Sí, Sebastián, como decimos la semana pasada, ahora los shows latinos en español los voy a hacer en español, aquí en el Comedy Calendar. Tenemos esta semana el martes a las 8 de la noche en Miami Improv, Viva la Comedia, la 6ª temporada. Es un show que hace años que viene a Miami, a la Florida, y el Miami Improv lo tiene, creo que es ya el 6º año que lo están haciendo. Empieza el show con Benny Pla de España, Iván Camejo de Cuba, Julio Rodríguez de Colombia y Rodo Samso, o el Alacrán, de Argentina. Hace como un mes y medio estuvieron aquí en Miami, yo vi el show, súper chistoso, súper amorosos. Tuvieron varios artistas locales que vinieron que son famosos en el país de nosotros. Entonces, súper chévere, conocí bastante gente, va a ser una mezcla súper chévere. Infelizmente, tú y yo no vamos a estar trabajando ese día en el Miami Improv. Entonces, si alguien viene, no nos va a ver. Van a ver Jay Millie, van a ver nuestro amigo TJ. Pero yo recomiendo a todo el mundo. Si quieren ver un show latino, ese es uno de los mejores. Y te garantizo que van a tener los asientos mejor en la casa. Porque si llegan temprano, los van a poner bien adelante. Y yo estoy listo, y la semana que viene espero tener unas fotos para poder hablar un poco más de ese show.
All right. I don't know what Art just said, but I think he endorsed ISIS. Moving on to Wednesday now. This is going to be the jewel of the week at the Miami Improv. If you don't have tickets, there's just been a show added, but we have Two Hats and Mario Ramil doing their annual Wednesday, before Thanksgiving show.
That's right.
It is going to be an absolute banger. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this show. We have 3 shows that night. Yeah. We have sold out 7 p.m., sold out 9, and then he's added a 12:30 show on the Improv. It's listed as 11:59 because if we put it any later, it would be for the next day.
Yeah.
So we have it listed at 11:59, but the show is going to start at 12:30. He's going to have a little late night special comedy / intimate party thing. I don't really know what it's going to be, but that's going to be a super fun show that you're going to want to, if you don't have tickets already, hit up that midnight show, because this is going to be just as fun. It's going to be that same block party feel. It's going to be that same vibe, and it's going to be even more Mario Ramil on that day. But
there's only so there's only 2-3 days to buy tickets before that show it comes up. It's probably going to sell out. The 12 o'clock show, we added it last week, I think at the end of last week. It's going to sell out before the show. Every day when I get to the Improv and I'm answering calls or doing emails,
there's always people talking about it.
Are people asking, can I get into Mario Ramil? What kind of,
I just had someone text me today about getting into Mario Ramil when I woke up. Like, hey, I didn't get tickets. I see it sold out. And I mean, hey, man, there's a midnight show,
So now the beautiful part is that, one, they added a midnight show. The second part, which is beautiful, is that not only they added the midnight show, but this week, the Improv has selected that show as a special show. So give them some more info.
100%. I was just about to get to that. So we are going to be giving away for that 12:30 Mario Ramil show. I know it's late, but here's the incentive. You're going to get 4 VIP tickets, which include reserved seating. So you're going to have a reserved seat under your name for your party. And you're also going to get $100 to spend at the Miami Improv. That's $100 plus 2 tickets to this show, which are each around, maybe $40 each. So that's really almost $200 in value. Well, right, 4 tickets. So there you go.
Yeah.
4 tickets. So you're looking at over $200 in value in this prize.
Yeah.
So you can come out and enjoy one of the most sought after and most highly anticipated shows at the Miami Improv every single year. This is literally the 5th year in a row that they do this show. And every single year they've sold out and had it be an absolute banger.
Yeah.
So by all means, please, 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 please sign up for this giveaway. How do you sign up, you may ask? Well, it's really easy. In the clip right now, you're just going to go to the bottom into the comments and tag 3 friends. That's super simple. Then you're going to follow Comedy Calendar, which you should already do if you want to keep up to date. And if you want to know if you won, you're going to have to follow us anyway. And the last thing you're going to do is just put this clip on your story. Just repost it on your story. You know, every time that you post it on your story every day, that's 1 entry extra into being selected. So if you put it 5 days in a row, that's 5 extra entries for you. Right. So by all means, please, please, please share and post. The more you share, the more you post, the more likely you are to win. Yeah. So please, if you want to get $100 to spend on food and drinks, you can literally get a bottle of wine. You can get a bottle of alcohol, whatever you want. Yeah. You want to get 6 plates of tequeños, you can get 6 plates of tequeños. It doesn't matter. We'll serve it to you. But you get $100 and 4 VIP reserved seats for that show. So by all means, guys, please, please, please sign up for this. We are so happy and grateful that the Improv is letting us give these away. And we are even more happy that it's you guys who get to win it. Yep. So sign up on this clip. Please, please, please hit up the description, follow us, and put it on your story. And we got you guys. A winner will be announced tomorrow on Tuesday. Yeah. So you will find out tomorrow night. So get on this quick, post it up now, so you can be entered for a chance to win.
That's right. And the last thing I'll say is if anyone needs incentive to come catch the Mario Ramil show with 2 hats, check out our interview with him a couple of weeks ago. We had him and 2 hats here in studio. It's amazing. I mean, they talked about what they're going to do. They talked about what they've done before. I'm excited. We'll be there working that night. So it's going to be, kind of a treat for us before Thanksgiving. So shout out to Mario. Shout out to 2 hats. Wednesday, Miami Improv. We got 3 shows. New show at midnight. Hit us up.
Yes, sir. And now to finish out the week after that in Dania on Wednesday as well, we are going to be having a Have Not show at 8 p.m. So if you are up in Dania Beach, you can't get down to Miami for the Mario Ramil shows, or maybe the 12:30 is just a little bit too late for you. You can head up to Dania Beach where they're going to be having a great lineup. I know Brittany Brave is on that lineup.
That's right.
We got a few other really, really funny comedians that are going up there. It's going to be an absolute banger. So it always is with Have Nots, obviously. Actually, Paula, I see now, is also on that show. Yep. So shout out to Paula.
Yeah, we got Lonnie Cox as well up there.
Yeah, so. Yeah. This is going to be a great lineup. Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic lineup. You want to be out there. You want to be at that Dania show, because if you are, you hang out with Dom, you get to know him, and then you get to come out to all the other shows and be treated right, because Dom's the man.
That's right.
So go hang out, go enjoy a show, and just, if you can't make it out to the Mario Ramil show for whatever reason, you have a beautiful secondary option happening at our sister club, Dania Beach. Right. So,
and I'll say this. So, obviously we're in November, right? Almost the end of the year. So this is one of the last chances you'll get to catch Have Nots this year. Mm-hmm. Next month in December, our boy Sebi will be there at Have Nots.
Yep,
so if you can't catch the Dania one this month, I understand, Thanksgiving, but next month, don't miss that. Our boy Sebi right here will be there. And in January, for the Miami one, I'll be performing at that one.
Heck yeah.
So beginning of the year with one of those. So we're going to keep shouting out Have Nots. He's doing amazing work. If anyone, is either going to be on the lineup or has questions about that show, I love talking about Have Nots. Hit me up. We got you guys.
Yes, sir. Moving on to Thursday, there is nothing happening in South Florida comedy, because that is going to be Thanksgiving, and we want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving with your families. Enjoy that Thursday. Ain't no comedy happening. Make your friends and family around the dinner table laugh with all your political jokes and your strong-winded opinions about how Trump should be doing this or Kamala should have done that. Just be as divisive as possible. It's so much fun. Stir the pot. Don't just do it with the food. Don't just be stirring up food. Stir up your family. Get them all upset. Play devil's advocate just for the fun of it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
We know how your family...
Yeah, since we can't do comedy for you guys on Thursday, you guys will be the extension of the comedy in Miami. And just make Grandpa uncomfortable.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, tell him you want to dye your hair blue. Say something crazy. It's for the fun of it. It's for the turkey. They're going to sleep it off and forget about anything you said anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I agree. I do want to do a couple of Thanksgiving things. Like, first things first, I want to give a big shout out and big thank you to the Miami Improv. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we both work there, but besides just opportunities to perform, free tickets and these kinds of things that they do, just all the support around comedy. So big shout out, Miami Improv, from the owner to the management to all the employees there, security, everyone who kind of supports us in this dream that we have. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I want to thank everyone around the Comedy Calendar, right? We have Community News, who's an amazing organization, letting us be here, film this. just can't thank them enough. Rachel, our producer on the show, she's always, doing the magic behind the scenes. Always going to be somebody who, doesn't get the limelight up here in the front, but we can't do this without her. Julian, who's doing all the post-production stuff, helping me with clips, audio, sound. Again, these episodes are getting better and better each week, and it's because of all the work that these guys are doing. And lastly, just Dan from Dart Vision. He's there in the moments. He captures those moments. When he's here in the studio, he's capturing all the behind the scenes for us. So I really can't thank, any of those guys enough. And then lastly, I want to just thank all the venues that put comedy in South Florida. It's always a risk. Somebody can go up there, they can say something crazy. Your business might get reflected in a negative way, but they take these risks, and I'm hoping them, especially going into next year, a lot of fortune and a lot of well wishes as they embark on this thing with us. So just thank you to everyone. Thank you to you, Sebi, for being my co-host on the show, man.
Well said. Thank you to you, Art, as well, for doing this show every single week, coming in here, grinding in. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks to everybody who's involved in South Florida comedy. That is absolutely must be said, first of all, 100%, because it's not said enough to all the people that constantly contribute and work hard on a week-to-week basis to make sure that at least some people in Miami can come out and enjoy comedy whenever they want at their leisure. Quickly rounding out the weekend, though, we got a few shows happening over at Miami and Dania. In Miami on Friday, we have Daphne Springs, who's coming through and doing 2 shows. She's a really, really funny comic. She just recently was highlighted as actually not recently, in 2018, she won the Just for Laughs Montreal New Faces, which is a comedy festival that has constantly, the people who win have gone on to be, it's kind of like a litmus test for good comics. So she won that, and she's put out a few specials. She's been on Jimmy Kimmel. She's been on BET Comedy Get Down. So been all around, coming down to Miami. I believe she was a last-minute replacement show. There was somebody else who was supposed to be here this weekend, and they weren't able to make it. So she picked it up last minute, which also goes to show the grit of what a comic she is. Not a lot of people would do that and bet on themselves like that. So definitely come out and support Daphne. It's going to be a really, really fun show. She's got a 7:30 and a 10 on Friday at Miami. In Dania on Friday, though, we got Jared Freid. He's going to be there, I think, also on Saturday, correct? Right. He's doing the whole weekend in Dania. 4 shows. Jared is really, really funny, guys. I mean, he's a New York-based comic who does just some of the more funny, like, in terms of relatable comedy, when you're trying to do relatable comedy, I think sometimes you can get washed up and being hacky. He does it so well. Like, he was talking one time about being a late night eater. Like, he has a whole bit. I don't know if he still does it, but at the time he's posted it online now, but he was like, I'm a late night snacker, and his whole thing about how he has to like hide, like if he's like, he has to sneak around people, and he's like, I'm a grown man. Why? All of that, he's talking about something very basic, like getting up in the middle of the night and getting a snack, but he makes it so funny. And I think anybody who's a fan of good, like real comedy, New York style, set up punchline, just funny stories, funny guy, funny character on stage, Jared Freid is right up your alley, and you should definitely go out and check him out in Dania.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, just obviously he works with everybody. He's got a J Train podcast where he interviews comedians. He's had Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's had everybody on that podcast. So obviously good to work with. He has a You Up podcast, which he does with Jordana Abram.
With like dating advice, right?
Dating advice, exactly. Yeah. So another kind of thing where it's like very relatable material. He's got a special that came out a while back called Socially Distracted, of course. He's got a new special called 37 and Single. But one of the things that I found very interesting that kind of like made me think of you, Sebi, actually, because you're such a sports guy, is that he's actually a regular contributor on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network.
On NFL Network, right? Yeah. That show's fantastic, by the way. They do a really great job on Good Morning Football. It's one of the best, like, morning shows in sports, period. Like, across all the shows, it doesn't matter what it is, they do a really, really fantastic job. Shout out to Good Morning Football randomly. Yeah, big shout out to Good Morning Football. Moving on, though, to the weekend of the Miami Improv. On Saturday, we are going to be having the Rock Comedy Tour, which is something that I haven't seen come through here ever before. I'm not really sure exactly what it's going to be, like rock and roll style comedy. It's going to be a different-esque show, but we got Mike Young, Jen Stager, Shantae Waynes, obviously of the Waynes family. Really, really fun. And Steve Simone, all are going to be on that show. Haven't heard of many of them other than Shantae, obviously, but this is going to be a great show. They tour all over the country, so they're all consummate professionals. They're all going to be super funny, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is. A rock comedy tour? Like, what? Like, are they is it going to be rock based? Like, what does that necessarily revolve around? I'm interested and I'm intrigued. And if you are too, you should definitely come out to the Improv on Saturday.
So from the research I did, it will be obviously rock music with the comedians coming on. I'm not sure if they're going to be singing or doing funny songs, but it is a mixture of the two things. And the one thing I know,
kind of like what Mario Ramil does. He has the two hats. He brings on the music. He interacts with them. He kind of weaves it in and out. That's really cool. That's cool.
And the one thing I saw on their promos online, I'm not sure if he's going to be here, but I did see John Stamos doing a lot of the promos for the Miami show.
Oh,
so
cool.
He's not on the lineup. I haven't seen anywhere else, but on the promos online, he was there talking about how cool it is. So
dope.
Maybe even get him on this
That'd
weekend.
be cool. A little drop in from Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, man. Great. That's going to be, though, this week in South Florida comedy. That's what's coming up. That's what we got. One thing that I do want to shout out, though, guys, is we do have some new social links that you can subscribe to and follow that we really, really want you to engage with. Go to TikTok and follow Comedy Calendar SoFlo on TikTok as well. We just started that. We're going to be posting all of our clips up there. So please, please, please go and support us there. It's the first time either of us have ever used TikTok, so we don't have any kind of built-in base or following to kind of bring it over. So we're hoping that you guys can help kick that off. We also have a YouTube available now as well, where we're going to be putting up most of our YouTube shorts, our clips, and everything. So not only subscribe to community newspapers on YouTube, but now you can also subscribe to the Comedy Calendar page itself for all the shorts and maybe some other varied content that doesn't necessarily fit into this format, but that we're going to be doing to support Comedy Calendar. So please give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a share, help us out a little bit. These are all going to be in the description of this show, all the links and everything. So just click on, if you use TikTok, maybe you're more TikTok than Instagram kind of person, hit us up on those sites because it's brand new to us. So the more support we can get from you guys, the easier it's going to be. Thank you again so much for tuning into the South Florida Comedy Calendar. We come to you live every single Monday from the community newspapers here in South Miami in their black studio. We want to thank not only them, but all of you guys for tuning in every single week and watching. Until next week, guys, keep laughing. See you then.